Good day everyone, and welcome to Eureka Archery, and here today we are at Eco Warrior Park. And for today's video I'll be showing you the processes that I go through to make custom arrows. This is an arrow order from an archer in Johor, and he has requested natural arrows for his Turkish bows, and he has 3 bows from 40 to 45 pounds. So based on the recommendation, we actually provided him with some specs, and we will tune these shafts that we have measured the spine and the weight. You can see that the measurement in green there, as well as the spine, and we are going to cut this shaft from the knock valley here, the knock groove, from here towards the end here at 30 inches. And of course we can use hand saws, or we can use hacksaws to cut the shafts, but to be precise, we are actually going to be using this. This is a D-cut arrow cutter, and the model is PC0 cut, and we will use this so that we can get a uniform cut on all the shafts. It is controlled by a foot activated switch down here. You can't see it off camera, but how it is, you dial in the distance that you want, you place your shaft there, and all you have to do is press it down, or rather step on the switch, and we're going to cut it. And just like that, you get a very clean cut on the shaft. So after cutting all the shafts, we will be making a hole. We'll be boring the shaft here using a specialized tool, using a drill, and after that we will put in the arrow points. So the design that we're going for is a tank arrow point instead of a socket one, and after we do that we will be sanding off, or rather grinding off, the axis to make sure that it is flush. So I'll show you how it looks like after I cut off 11 more shafts. So we have made the holes using the tool just now. So right now we'll be putting in arrow points into the hole, gluing it, and using a rubber mallet to drive it in. So let's do that. We're going to put it like that, and then we're going to hammer it down. Then making sure the bottom is all fine, super gluing it, and before the glue dries up, drive the whole thing in. Not too worried about the drips like this, because we're gonna shave off this entire transition, making it flush after this. Done. Right, so after making the hole, putting in the tank points and everything, what we want to do next is we want to make it flush. So in order to do that, I have here a really cute belt sander, which is a tabletop belt sander, and we're just gonna go through it here, and we want to taper this. Just a little bit more here, so we can feel it with the fingers, and we'll just sand it accordingly. And now this side here is flush, a little bit more here. And basically that's how you do it. After this, we'll be taking the sandpaper and we're gonna do the finishing sanding. But for the main rough work, we'll just use the mini belt sander. So after belt sanding it, we just take the sandpaper and we'll just do some fine sanding for the parts that may require some extra finishing. So something like this is good enough. And after this, we'll put some of the oil mixtures, and then we'll just heat it up with a torch so that the oil is absorbed into the shaft, and the steel arrowhead expands inside the hole that we bored earlier. So I'll just finish up sanding all the shafts and everything, and after that I will do the oiling. Once that's done, we will put on the fletching as well as the binding. Right after oiling it, we are going to be putting the feathers. We're going to use 3 inches parabolic. What we found is that with a much shorter fletch at long ranges, the drag will be a lot lesser. So we're using the D-cut P-Nexus fletching jig, and for all the shafts that we have selected for this set, we have identified which one is the stiffest part, and with that we use it as the index feather position. So simple stuff is just simple feather fletchings, and we're just going to use the fletching jig to put it on. So let's tighten this one up. Okay, and let's get fletching. So usually to fletch a dozen arrows, it will take about possibly an hour. So after 1 hour, we'll come and take a look at how the arrow looks like after that. So I'll just show you how I do the first one. I'll just have some glue on this. Okay, you want to make sure that you put the glue, I would say, as even as possible. And I use just a spare piece of a carbon shaft, and I will just run through the entire length of the fletch. So this way we want to ensure an even spread of the glue. You can use just normal super glue, or you can even use those specialized fletching glue. But for Malaysia market, I found using this Waltech super glue from Mr. DIY works surprisingly well. So usually we'll just place it like that, and we'll wait about a minute or two. But usually super glue will take less than 10 seconds. But to be safe, we're just gonna make sure that it is as close, and you want to make sure there's no gaps between the shaft and the fletch, the feather. And once it dries up, you're left with your index feather. So we'll do 2 more fletches, and then we'll see how it looks like. Alright, after fletching all of the shafts, the next thing we do is we use some artificial sinew. And what I do with these is that I try to get a piece out like that. Okay, and this material itself is already quite sticky, so what I'll do is I'll just wrap it firstly at the I would say the transition between the feathers and the shaft, so that it doesn't lift, and to reduce any kind of injury associated with the sharp quills of the fletching. So something like that, and then we'll use another piece for the basically the knock side here to reinforce it. Now after I've put this artificial sinew on, what I'll do is I will then coat the material in super glue, making it hard and strong. So just gonna put it like that all around it, and just using my fingertips, I'll just rub it into the material and making sure that it is spread evenly. I'll do the same thing on the knock side as well. Okay, so once you have actually spread the glue evenly, the artificial sinew with super glue is a very strong combination, and it almost looks like real sinew. So I'll just do for the rest of it, and then we'll see how it all looks like once all 12 arrow shafts has been completed. So let's check it out after this. So after all that is done, we put in these foam spaces so that when we ship it, it will be safe, and it just looks much better this way. Right, so after a few hours of making it, this is how it looks like, and I'll be packing it up and then straight to the post office to be shipped to our archer friend in Johor. So this is how we make our natural arrows. So for more information about the kind of arrows that we make and the kind of equipments that we also produce here at Eureka Archery, like, subscribe and share. My name is Anwar Mat Saad. Be an archer today.